Guess what? It's not 11 o'clock at night. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. So I am doing my video 12 hours earlier or later, I guess, depending on how you look at it. I am Marianne DeNovelis, President and CEO and founder of Breaking Chains Now, and welcome to our video. Last night I was at a mentoring appointment at my mentor's home in Orem. And I had a few aha moments. I kind of am thinking about this list that keeps going around Facebook that it is the 20 things that wealthy people do list. And I've been watching that circulate around, and I went through and I've read it a couple times, and I really enjoyed being able to check off many of the things on that list. And there's a reason that that list is going around. And there's the reason that people either resonate or don't resonate with it. If you always do what you've always done, then you'll always get what you've always gotten. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. I have talked to so many people in just the last 24 hours who are comfortable in their discomfort, who are living in a situation that they don't like, that costs them money every day, that's costing them relationships, that's costing them their peace of mind. They're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they're unhappy, and they're comfortable with that because they're used to it. There is something called change blindness. Change blindness. We are blind to it. They are blind to what is causing their discomfort because they're so used to it, because it hasn't changed. Let me give you an example. How many of you have been living at home and there's something on the couch or something on the coffee table or something on the kitchen counter that needs to be put away or needs to be returned to a friend, or just something needs to be done with it? It doesn't belong there, but it's still sitting there. And it's been sitting there for days, weeks. Maybe it's starting to collect a little dust on it. Does it belong there? No. And pretty soon, after you walk by it enough times, you're going to stop thinking, oh, I need to return that to so-and-so, or I need to put that away. The first few times you walk by it, yeah, maybe your hands are full and you forget it, or maybe you're on your way somewhere else and you don't pick it up. If you walk by it enough times without changing it, you become blind to it. It just sits there, out of place, cluttering up your space. We become blind to it. That's what's happening in these people's lives. They are so used to things being out of place that they're comfortable with it, and change scares them. They're not happy with what they are, where they are, but they don't want to change. Why is that? It requires a shift. It requires movement. It requires energy. It requires discomfort. I don't know if you've ever done a ropes course. If you haven't, come play with me. We're going to do a ropes course soon, and it's going to be amazing. If you've never done a ropes course, here's a little bit about it. And a lot of people go to ropes course having never done anything like it before. I can remember my first time on a ropes course. I was probably about 12 and I was petrified. I can remember my hands physically shaking because I was so scared that I had taken my life into my own hands. And I had given my life and trusted it in someone else's hands. When I was on that ropes course, I was in charge of my life and it terrified me. I put my life also in the trust of someone on the ground. And I'd never met them before. So I had to learn to trust that they knew what they were doing. I had to choose to put my life into my own hands and go forward. I climbed up high on those fabric netting ropes and I scaled between trees. We were in a forest in Colorado in Leadville. And if you can just imagine being up in those pines, in those evergreen trees, and you're good 20 to 30 feet off the ground, and you're 12 years old, and the only thing keeping you from falling is a carabiner and some rope. That requires faith in action. You have to communicate with your team, the people on the ground who are holding you. You have to move forward, or you're just going to be stuck up in the trees forever. I got to a point where there was a zip line, and you had to shimmy across the ropes, hand over hand, hand over hand. And when you got to a tree, you had to take your carabiner off the line, put it on the other, take the second carabiner off the line, put it on the other. That was the scariest part for me. That was so terrifying for me. Here I go with my life in my hands. One rope to the other terrified me. I had faith. I had faith in my team on the ground. So I got to that zip line and I froze. I completely froze. I was so short and it was so high and I couldn't reach it, and I just sat there hugging that tree, getting sap all sticky all over my clothes, but I didn't care. I was just holding on to that tree literally for dear life. I was terrified. I had to have someone come up and save me. There was no way I could get down on my own. I had one of the leaders, who I'd never met before, lean up against that tree on a ladder, climb the ladder, and bring me down safely. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because taking our lives into our own hands can be scary. Literally scary, terrifying. When I say taking our lives into our own hands, I mean determining the course of our future. When you make choices about your future, when you choose, when you do something scary and take a leap of faith, you are shifting and taking your life into your own hands. When people hire me as their mentor, I say, are you teachable? Are you willing to change? Are you ready? Are you ready to be uncomfortable? When they answer those questions, it's difficult. They're taking their lives into their own hands. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the only way to move forward. To rise up and move forward. Take control of your life. Rely on your team. You have to have a team. I couldn't do that ropes course by myself. There was no way. I had to rely on my team. I had to communicate with my team. I had to trust my team. They will help me get my life where I want to go. They will help me get to where I want to be. If I'm scared, they will come rescue me. Take your life into your own hands. Determine what your purpose is on this planet. You all have one. You all bring your own light that is not the same as anyone else's. Take your life into your own hands. Determine where you want to be. Choose to go there. Pick a team. If you want to come play on my team, that's great. If you find another mentor, that's great. If you want to work with me, you need to be teachable. You need to be ready to change. And you need to be ready to get uncomfortable. Because we're going to shift things forward and it's going to be better than you ever imagined. Have a great day. See you on Saturday.